Settle down and listen to the sounds of the singers in Choristers Lounge. There's plenty of things to talk about, so sit down, so sit down, so sit down at the lounge.
Hello, family, and welcome to another episode of the Choristers Lounge. My name is Matthew Caldwell, and pleased to again be joined today by Brother Richard Hurt and Brother J.C. Carey II. And today's episode, we're going to actually take the opportunity to engage you, our viewing audience. First and foremost, we want to thank you for being part of the journey so far. Again, continue to like, share, and subscribe to the various channels that we have. But also, we want to bring you all a little bit closer to us in the sense that we want to show you all that there are going to be times where we're going to be looking for suggestions and possible recommendations for topics for us to discuss. And that's what we're going to do today. We did receive some topics that were of great interest to us. And we really want to take some time today just to kind of delve into and explore those topics. So whenever you see, requests come out, whether it's on our Facebook page or on Instagram, you see, hey, what would you like to hear discussed in the Choristers Lounge? Know that we are taking that feedback seriously, and we're really looking forward to having you all to kind of guide our conversations. And this is going to be the first of those type of episodes. Now, we haven't really come up with a name for this particular segment. Some things that we're just kind of throwing out there are listeners' request, the community corner, your topics, our take. But we want to kind of throw that back at you. What would you all like to see this particular segment be called? So if you have any suggestions, recommendations, put it in the chat. Put it, in all the various mediums that you can reach out to us. So we're going to, maybe adopt the name that receives the most attention or that gets retweeted or repositioned most often. So we want to hear from what would you like to have this particular segment to be called. So that's just kind of the introduction for today. We're just going to jump right in. So we have 3 topics today that we wanted to kind of kick around a little bit. The first topic came from I Am That I Am. And the topic is the responsibility of balancing your life as a singing Levite. So we thank you, I Am That I Am, for submitting that to us. And we'll just throw that. So between Jay or Rich, when you hear that particular topic, the responsibility of balancing your life, and balancing your life was in quotes, the responsibility of balancing your life as a singing Levite, what comes to mind?
Richard, go first.
No pressure.
So when I think about balancing your life, I don't necessarily take balancing my life as a singing Levite and separate that from anything else in life, because you need total balance in life. Too much of anything is not good for you. So if we just focus on that, we're going to miss out some other things. As a singer, there are things that we go through in life on a daily basis that will determine our mindset as a singer. Inspirations, trials and tribulations. You sing differently every week based on what you go through. So for me, I don't separate it. For me, it's total. I had a conversation when I was 14 years old with Bishop Levite, right? I was in his bedroom talking to him. He said to me, Rich, sometimes you got to fly high and see the total picture. He said, you can't look at things from ground level because you're only going to see certain things. He preached a sermon one time about a fly landing on the carpet of an American flag with red, white, and blue. He said at ground level, he just sees a sea of red. But when he flies high, he sees the total picture. You have to look at life in its totality. So I like to take things and put it in perspective as a total picture. Even when it comes to church life, singing, different things, because you have to have a total balance.
Hmm. Jay, what you got?
And I appreciate Brother Rich, his insight on that. Would you mind going over the question again?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Matt?
absolutely. So the responsibility of balancing your life as a singing Levite.
The responsibility. I guess what jumps out is responsibility. So, being a singing Levite, musician, singer, um, it's something that you work at continuously. Is a part of your way of life. Is something that you love to do. Um, your responsibility is to continue to hone in on that craft and make time for it. Just make time. I mean, it doesn't. One of the I believe one of I forget who said it, but it said someone said read your Bible 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes take
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes out of your day to sing a song, hum a tune. Hey, do something.
Do something.
And
Yes, sir.
yeah, do something
Do something.
musical. Do
Yeah.
something musical. Make that a part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. Some people like myself. I could go hours humming tunes. But that's me. You know. Then I have to come back and realize I got to do other things. But just take time out of your day. Just if this something that you love, we say, "I love thy church, oh God," in our anthem. So what everything that is connected to that comes from the heart. So something that you love, you're gonna make time for. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, and I think if I can just add a couple things on that piece, something you just said,
Mhm,
Jay, taking time and making
mhm,
time for it.
mhm,
I
mhm.
think that's so important. It's bigger, and we do ourselves a disservice if we
Right.
limit our musical expression to just the
Mhm,
beginning of the Sabbath day. All right. You've missed a whole week of opportunity
mhm,
to really hone
mhm,
in and train
mhm,
and really work
mhm,
that vocal muscle. All right.
mhm,
Even with an instrument, right? You
mhm,
have to play an instrument in order to keep that
mhm,
instrument in tune, right? In
mhm.
order to make sure that if it needs a little bit of a little I don't know, little TLC to bring out the best in that particular instrument. It's the same thing
Absolutely.
it's the same thing with the voice.
Mhm,
And like Jay said, it doesn't necessarily have to be singing an operatic song 24 hours 7 days, but just hum something, right? Keep your
mhm,
mind stayed on that particular thing, both musically. Now the other side of it, and this is for our youngsters out there, strike a balance between your ambition as a musician and making sure that we're taking care of those things that we need to take care of from an academic standpoint, all right? From a domestic standpoint, all right? Rich said too much of anything is bad, all right? Can you
mhm,
you you can
mhm.
there's such a thing as water poisoning. Like you can actually
Yes, sir.
ingest too much
Too
water.
much water.
You
Yeah,
can really do that, right? So you kind of have to
absolutely.
the balance of it all is trying to figure out a way to give everything not necessarily equal time, but time that really makes you the best holistic person that you can possibly be, right? So that's just something I wanted to throw out there when it comes to that. Rich, you got anything else on that piece, the balance part?
So part of it is, number one, we have to learn that the voice is a muscle.
Come on now,
Absolutely.
come on
And like
now.
anything
Yes.
else, you have to exercise the muscle in order to get the best performance. I'm a track coach as well. So I tell my, my,
Mhm.
my
Didn't know that.
kids, right?
Go
Um,
ahead. Didn't know that. I'm learning some
yeah.
new stuff every day. Go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
So I tell my runners, you can't come to practice every other day and think that on the day of the meet, you're going to get out here and perform top notch. because you haven't properly exercised. If you're not stretching, then you're not giving your muscles what they need. You know what I'm saying? To build and be
Yeah.
strong. And if you're not practicing at 100%,
Yes,
then
sir.
you can't perform at 100%.
That's
There
right.
is no way. In fact, you need to practice harder than you perform because your performance is one run. That's just one race. Now I
Mm-hmm.
got kids that have come out here that are practicing hard every day, and on
Mm-hmm.
the meet days, they're ready for the performance.
Yeah.
That's
Now, if
right.
I come in halfway and I haven't practiced, then I'm trying to keep up with their 100%.
Mm-hmm.
That's a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
That's a recipe
Mm-hmm.
for a pulled hamstring easily.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if we
Mm-hmm.
aren't, as singers, if we aren't doing some kind of vocal exercise on a daily basis, like you said, you don't have to sing operatic or, you don't have to do that. But you need to do something that keeps
Something.
those muscles warm. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
um,
Yes, sir.
how we treat our voices at night. Because night air is so pure and clean, it's not really good for our voice because it kind of strips it. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Mm-hmm.
things that we eat. Sometimes we eat things that cause mucus that hurts our sinuses.
So
In
Rich,
Absolutely.
turn,
give me an example of maybe some of those foods that aren't maybe as I know dairy is one.
dairy is horrible, but we like dairy, and some of us actually need dairy, but we have to limit how much of dairy we eat
That's the balance.
because that
Balance.
mucus comes, and then you have to eat
Balance.
things that can help to get rid of mucus. Things like I learned this from my great aunt, Saint Hannah Hurt. She was a
Mm-hmm.
female chorister in Wilmington, right? Brother Joe Hurt's mother, right? She used to bring celery sticks to service every Sabbath,
Mm.
and she would hand them
Learn
out. If
something
we
today.
wanted them, we would eat celery sticks. Celery helps to pull the mucus and get rid of it. So we're eating celery. Now, just that little bit of time during intermission up until the worship service, eating celery sticks kind of helped to clear you out. Imagine eating celery sticks on a regular basis
Yeah.
to kind of even out and help to get rid of that mucus. Because there are other things, natural herbs that you can take that help to get rid of mucus and flushes mucus out of your body. But we eat so
Mm-hmm.
many things that cause issues. They have good parts to them, but it causes a lot of issues, and we don't do anything to counteract that. So we have
Balance.
to take care of what we eat. We definitely need to exercise the muscle, sing something, hum something, get some vibration in your vocals. Okay, because you may not go out here and go to the gym, but at least if you walk, you're getting some exercise.
That's right.
Walk and hum.
The walking hum.
Walking.
Listen,
Walk and sing.
let me tell you what that does. People don't realize. You get cardio, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Your heart rate, your little work,
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
legs get stronger, your
Mm-hmm.
wind gets better because you're humming and walking. So now when
Mm-hmm.
you go to sing on the Sabbath and we prancing and singing,
Or
how much
marching.
closer to it? Or march, you know what I'm saying? We're closer to what
Yeah.
we need to do, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
everything in
sir.
life is relative. We can incorporate everything.
Mm.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Jay, you got
And
anything else
and
on that
and
one?
and
Yes, sir.
just to when Rich was talking about being a track, speaking to his runners, and he mentioned practice. I think we spoke about this in another segment. Practice prepares you for rehearsal. Rehearsal prepares you for the
Performance.
performance or
Yes,
the,
sir.
or the service. So if you have to make this, like I said, make time for it. It don't have to like, oh, okay, it's 4:30. I need to go out there for you don't necessarily, I mean, you can do that if you want, so you can have structure. But if you're walking already, hum something. It could be something that you heard on the radio. It could be one of your favorite songs. It could be a Cogasat song. It could be any song, but it's just take out time, make time to
Time.
do it because it will help you as a singing Levite. Our job is to sing of mercy and judgment.
Come on now.
But if you clogged up with stuff that's preventing you from doing that, it's not helping you at all. So,
Yeah.
so just make it easy on yourself and make time and take care of yourself. So,
That take care of yourself.
So
yes,
check
sir.
this out, man. I just want to drop
Go
this
for it.
real fast, right? So Jay, you said something, right?
Hmm.
Don't come to rehearsal trying to practice.
Right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like
You know what I'm saying?
that. Right.
Don't come to rehearsal
Right.
trying to practice.
Right.
You should have practiced at home,
That's right.
ready to rehearse what you
Hmm.
practice because you're rehearsing for the performance.
That's right. That's
Some
right.
people get it twisted. People say, I'm going to band practice. You going to band practice, that's a problem for me.
Yes, sir.
And you can tell the difference, and you can tell the difference when you come in there
Absolutely.
ready to it makes a complete. And then sometimes whoever's in front, they can tell, and you get in
Hmm.
there, you go up there fumbling and stuff like that, like you didn't do a thing since we last were in this room, right? And it shows,
Boom.
and it becomes semi-frustrating, right? Not semi, it
Exactly.
becomes frustrating, right?
Tell the truth.
Because
Yes, sir.
because
Yes, sir.
there should be some at-home study, some
Yeah.
at-home practice, so that we can further things along at our next time that we
Right.
come together.
Right.
But if we're
Right.
rehashing and all those types of things, it really does the entire does disservice to all of us that are there. So just take
Yeah.
some time. I love it, and I'm glad that you brought that back up, Jay. I was going to ask you to reiterate that, and I thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Rich, for bringing that back up.
Yes, sir.
I guess the last thing I'll say on that, when it comes to the idea of being a singing Levite, right? There are certain standards and codes of conduct that we should always kind of find ourselves exemplifying. All right.
Mhm.
Even from the idea of being a musician, absolutely. But aside from that, just walk worthy of the occupation, of the lifestyle of being a singing Levite, so that when the spirit moves on you in such a way, if I'm so far away from carrying myself in a way where I can commune with the spirit, sometimes I'm going to miss maybe a divine musical concept that may come my way because my mind is on something completely different. All right. But
That's right.
if I'm walking worthy of the lifestyle of a singing Levite, you just kind of prepare yourself to be an open reservoir for that spirit to come through and give you, these musical ideas and these musical concepts. So that's something else that I would share with that. So I think we really dealt with that topic very well. So the second topic that I have here is from Can't Be Real. And this topic is the importance of building a relationship with your choir members.
Boom.
The importance of building a relationship with your choir members. So I'm going to, since Rich started us off first on this, on the last question, Jay, I think you're a great person to start on this one. The importance of building a relationship with your choir members. What you got, Jay?
Well, really, like any other relationship, you have to cultivate it. Of course, in the importance of it, if you want to get the best in this sense, if you're a chorister, from a chorister to singer, you want one of the main things that we think of. Oh, you got to teach them. That's cool. That's cool. But really developing, it's taking a little bit beyond music in a sense. You know, you 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 know, brother JC said this to me a while ago. You get people that like you or respect you, they'll do anything for you.
It's the truth.
So what I got from it as time went on, when you build a solid relationship, not just getting them to sing, but you show that you care about the people you build a relationship with. And it goes both ways. You show
Sure.
that you genuinely, we talk about, I love thy church. That is
The
building
people. That's
the
right.
people. You're
Yes, it.
building a relationship with the saints, with one another.
Yeah.
So, and with you doing that, you be able to work better with one another, regardless if it's the music, whatever we find our hands to do. But
Yeah.
in this sense, building a relationship, you got to show that it's not just about what you're trying to impart. You got to, in totality, like Brother Rich said, you got to fly above it and see the entire picture.
Yeah.
So the importance is you got to continually to show love. You got to continue to give it as you receive it. And so that's what came to mind. Something else may come to me, a little bit later, but
Yes,
that
sir.
that was one of the first things that came to mind.
Awesome. No, that's great. That's great. What you got, Rich?
So I thought about this question earlier this morning,
Hmm.
and what it took me to was sometimes we try to make separations in certain things that we do and say, well, how can we cultivate this? I took it back to if we just work the prophet's plan,
Mm-hmm.
okay? If we work the prophet's plan and do what he said, little children love you one another, that relationship will transcend. If I love you as a congregant, most of us are family anyway, so we should be on a different level anyway, right?
Anyway,
So,
some are
and
relatives, some are family.
right, and those of us, right, there's a difference.
Yeah, some got a complicated relationship. Some of us do.
Yeah, right.
But
But if
relationship nonetheless.
so, if we are family,
Yeah.
Hmm.
relatives,
Hmm. Yeah.
and we've been brought under this umbrella of one big family,
Yes, sir.
because where we start from is really family. That's where we are anyway.
That's
Okay.
right.
We should be so connected as saints and family that the love just transcends from everything that we do from one place to the next. So once you become a singer, then we already have a love affair as a family member. You know what I'm saying? So we just working in a different capacity now. We shouldn't have to try and build something because see now we start separation, right?
Hmm.
And when you
Hmm.
start separation, now
Hmm.
it's like, oh yeah, we the choir and we this, oh we over here, we that. Now
Hmm.
you're starting to, and that brings something different,
Mm-hmm.
But when we all understand that this is all one big picture,
Just one big picture. Yep.
we just pieces
Yep.
to this puzzle.
That's
And
right.
one piece can't do without the other piece,
That's
Truth.
right.
you know. So the relationship should already be intact. We
Hmm.
just share something more in common than we do with others in the pieces of the puzzle,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And if
Hmm.
we are really together, those who are not part of the choir will still foster the relationships
Absolutely.
of those singers because they gain a respect for what the singers do that they know that they aren't built for whatever
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
reason. That's not their
Hmm.
calling. But they
Right.
support and respect
Hmm.
what the singers do, which
Hmm.
would make us take on a different perspective of our positions. And
Hmm.
that just helps the love. We don't have to foster anything or create or build. It's just automatically there because we have like minds and we know this is our niche right here. And we know
Right.
what we
Hmm.
need to do to make this
Hmm.
work so that we can affect the other people that support us on a weekly basis.
Mm.
And if
Yes,
something
sir.
that you, I mean, were
You
you
could. You
finished,
could.
Rich?
No.
Okay. 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 So, it's funny. I was just speaking to a saint recently about what we do now as a congregation and what it was during the prophet, during William S. Crowley's time. So they were at church, or they were together. All right, they were together more.
Truth.
It wasn't just coming together on Friday nights and Saturday. It
Truth.
wasn't it wasn't a weekly gathering. It was almost at least 5 days a week.
At least. Truth.
At least 5 days a week that you came together as a congregation, whether it's for choir, it was Sunday night services. You
Mhm.
had Tuesday night rehearsal. You had Wednesday was that solar circle,
Yes, sir.
um, and then you had Friday and said, now I'm not sure if they did anything else, but I'm assuming if they
Mm-hmm.
were that close,
That's right.
that they had other things going on. They were together. So
Mm-hmm.
whether they disagree with each other or not or whatever, they were still able to work things out because they saw one another
Mhm.
so much.
That's right.
So I don't know if we have to get back. Well, I won't go in that direction, but that really helped
Sure.
the family ties there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we were related or not, we still became family.
Mm-hmm.
We became family. So um, the importance of that. Yes, if one of the things that we do in the choir, we close ranks, right?
Truth. Come on
If
now.
there's space in between us, how
Talk
can we
about it.
sing together? Come on,
Come on
like
now.
all this is symbolic of who we should be
Come on
as a
now.
people and as individuals. So
Man.
So first, the relationship has to be strong in order for us to get the best out of one another.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
And that does not mean that you're always going to agree with everything
absolutely,
or everybody, right?
that's
Right.
true. That's true.
So what you said earlier about what your father told you, Jay, get the people to like and respect you, right? That
Mm-hmm.
sometimes as the chorister, you have to put on the black hat, right? So
That's
what,
right.
what we were
That's
just
right.
talking about with rehearsal and that the topic
Mm-hmm.
before, when you know your singers haven't, done what they need to do with their individual study, and they come in there and the rehearsal just isn't quite going the way that you know it should. But
Mm-hmm.
as the director, you have in your mind, you see the best in your singers. You
Mm-hmm.
know what they're able to do. And you'll pick
Mm-hmm.
certain songs, a certain repertoire that
Mm-hmm.
will sometimes stretch even what the singers believe is possible. I know you can
Absolutely.
do this. I know you can
Mm-hmm.
do it. You just have to put some time and some work into it. But sometimes they may not meet that mark. And then as a chorister, because you have the love for the singers and the respect of the singers,
That's
sometimes you
right.
have to come to them in not necessarily in almost like a fatherly or motherly way. Like, come on
Right.
now, we're not quite hitting that standard, but that's something that's cultivated and developed over time. I couldn't do that, or we can't do that first day on the job necessarily, if
Right.
you haven't developed, that type of rapport and that type of
Mm-hmm.
relationship, with your singers. Ultimately, you have the responsibility, like I said, to bring out the best in those singers. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're kind of lackadaisical in your responsibility as a chorister, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
see that you're taking the time to really hone and perfect your craft, it becomes very
Mm-hmm.
difficult to try to push and to motivate, those that are under your tutelage. So I can't say that any better than what you already said. Rich, Jay, you got anything else on that one? Just the importance of building that relationship, and it shows. It really it shows. It
So I'll
shows.
say this. I'll say this. In order to gain the respect and comfort of the singers that you are, I don't want to say over, but those singers that you work with, right?
Yeah, that you're responsible for. I put
In
it
a
like that. You're
leadership
responsible for them.
position, in a leadership position, you have to know what you're doing and what you're talking about. You can't go in acting like you know what you don't know or be shaky because these people depend on you. Now, I'm not saying that a
Uh-oh.
coach has to know
Uh-oh.
everything, right? Because you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to know everything, right?
No. No.
But a
That's
course,
true.
And that's
it's like
okay.
it's okay. It's
It's
like a
okay
good
not to
Mm-hmm.
know
manager.
everything.
There is no manager or director or anybody that knows everything about everything.
Yeah.
The smart ones know that they don't know everything, but they know who knows what they don't know, and they lean
Mm-hmm.
on them. You know,
Mm.
I
Uh-oh.
might be going into another direction. Now. I might need to stop, but
Uh-oh.
I'm a step.
Uh-oh.
I'm a step
Keep going.
anyway.
I mean, this is a conversation, though, bro.
Okay, I'm a step
I
anyway,
mean,
right?
come on with it,
So,
bro. Keep going.
so sometimes we have
Mm-mm.
folk in leadership positions, right?
Mm-mm.
And for the
Mm-hmm.
sake of not wanting to be outshined,
Mm.
right?
Uh-oh.
We fall and we don't use those who we know can help, because what we don't realize is that when we can manage the people that we have under us, right? And those people have certain talents and things that they can do to help enhance whatever we're doing, we all shine. And
Shine.
as a person who is a manager, you look better because now you know how to use those people in certain places and say, you know what, you're good at that. I'm not good at that, but you're good at that. So I'm going to put you over here in charge of this and you handle that, right? I'm not really good at this over here either. So you can do this, or you know better how. I need to consult with you to see how we can better get this done because you have the knowledge, and I need to see how we can use that to better what we have. We need to learn to use what it is that we have and not shun for the sake of thinking, oh, somebody else knows more, but they're going to outshine me. That's an age old problem that we've had. And what it does is stifles our growth.
Mm.
So we have to learn to respect other folk, their knowledge, their experience, and learn to incorporate that and say, let's get the best out of all of this to make the big picture what it should be. So respect is a big thing. And the people that are under us or those that we manage have a greater respect for us because now they know that they are useful to you and to the entire work, and they feel more comfortable with coming to talk to you about things that may need to be enhanced or how can we work on something to make it better. It's a two-way street, you
Correct.
know. You can come to me and say, listen, I noticed that you can do this and I need your help. Can you handle this? Can you take over that?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Now I'm seeing something. I'll say, listen, I know you put me in this spot here, but I know you are in charge. But I want to run this past you and see what you think about this. How can we come together to get a solution?
Mm.
You know?
Got you. Jay, give me one more comment on that, and we'll go to the last
Okay. Okay.
topic.
I'm trying to. So I have a couple of points.
Yes, sir.
So the Bible speaks of getting wisdom, you know,
Sure.
knowledge, with
Get
the
wisdom with all I
principles
get
of
and get understanding.
get
Mm-hmm.
understanding.
Yes, sir.
So just to speak on to kind of add to what Brother Rich just said, if you don't know, okay, that's fine that you don't know, but that's half of it. If it has something to do with your job, you got to not only use the people that can help you to obtain the knowledge and you gain wisdom from it, but you know how to apply what you know, right? A lot of people stop at the point of, okay, I don't know, I'm gonna use this person. I look at that as being a crutch. You're not building trust. That's the other part
Mm-hmm.
of building a relationship. If the people see that you're gonna allow somebody else to do something that really you should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
how are they gonna trust you? How are they gonna trust that you're gonna teach them right? How are they gonna trust that you're gonna direct or conduct them right? And it places a space. You can't close ranks. And I just wanted to throw that out there
Yeah.
as well as from a chorister to a singer. But we also have to understand, Brother Rich kind of touched on this a few seconds ago. Um, he said at first, I'm above you. We have to realize that we are all colleagues. We just
Absolutely.
have different roles to play.
Mhm.
We have different roles to play. Nobody is above another. Your role is just different. You know, like you said, we cannot sing unless everybody comes together and realize everybody's part is important. Is important. It's not just on the course. No, I hear people say, "Oh, well, we get our inspiration from you." Oh, well, I get my inspiration from you
From you,
too,
right?
right?
Yes,
So,
sir.
Brother JC used to say, "You got to bring your own chunk of wood with you when you come
That's
to the
right.
That's it.
tabernacle or when you come to rehearsal,
Yes,
whatever."
sir.
Because truth be told, rehearsal is one of the five standing.
Yes, it is.
So
Service. So
service
it's a
Say it
service
again.
too.
Say it
So
again.
it's one of the five
on
things. So
Tuesday night.
yes, sir. On Tuesday night. So we have to realize that we are all colleagues. That we all need to buy into what we're doing. This all goes back to the first topic. Of what it was.
Balancing the responsibility of balancing
Balance.
your life as a singing Levite.
Realize that the singer is just as important as the chorister. Because we can sit up there and direct, but if nobody sings, then what are we doing?
We
How many
You know what I'm
just
times have you
saying?
dancing in front of
directed other
chairs.
chairs?
Right, right, right,
What
right.
kind of sound did
So
you
we're
Silence.
mum.
get?
Yeah, man. So man, these are great topics, man.
This is
Because it's very relevant
sure.
in what it is that I believe the Union Choir organization is trying to. I think it's trying to rebuild or to straighten up or however they want to put it. Um, that needs to be taught. That has to be reminded, not taught necessarily, but reminded. Because every Sabbath, it should be daily that we do it. So we pray daily, but
Truth.
weekly we recite the keys and commandments
That's right.
as a reminder. For those that already know, is a reminder. But for those that are coming that don't connect the dots, we have to be maybe the ink to help connect the dots. And so, but anyway,
Awesome.
that's all I have to say.
No, that's great. I think we've sufficiently dealt with that topic as well.
Yes, sir.
Great feedback and great discussion there, fellas, on that one. So the last topic that came up was from Musics for Life, and this topic was one word. This topic was one word, and sometimes the heaviest topics are one word topics, and this is a musical term. The topic from Music for Life is modulation. Modulation. So there was no additional word or phrase after that. It was modulation. So
So,
Jay or Rich, you can take that
Rich,
whatever way you want to
you look
go.
ready. Rich, you look ready, bro. Go ahead, man.
so hmm, I'm not sure what direction they wanted to go in with this topic,
Sure.
but I'm
I'll
going in.
take.
The episode's getting good, isn't it? Stop what you're doing, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, The Choristers Lounge, so you won't miss any further updates or future episodes. And we're also on Instagram and Facebook, so follow those to join our community. Now back to the episode.
So, number one, there's a difference in modulation and transposition. We
Hmm.
use the terms interchangeably, but they are two completely different things.
Hmm.
Transposition is what we do when we pitch a song, right?
It's the key.
So
Started.
we give
Yeah.
it in a different key.
Hmm.
Modulation is how you move between
Hmm.
keys within a
Hmm.
piece.
Hmm.
I don't have a
Hmm.
problem with transposition, but I got a big issue with modulation. We use it as a toy now. It's something to do. Let's
The
see. This
shiny
is this
object.
is the proving grounds of if you're a good chorister or not. Can you modulate? And wrong answer. So we have this thing that we do, right? And I've noticed. Now I've gone back and listened to recordings and whatnot from even back in the 50s, right?
Hmm.
They did no modulation.
Oh
Where they,
yeah.
where they pitched it, that's where it stayed. For several reasons. But that's what happened, right? In the 80s, the late 80s, about the late 80s is when changing the pitch started to come into play. And that's because as singers, we stopped doing what we should have been doing all along, which goes back to what we talked about a few moments ago. This is a muscle. If you
Yes, sir.
don't
Hmm.
exercise it, okay, it's not gonna keep up. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to fatigue
Mm-hmm.
itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but we've gone to the point now where we don't rehearse like we should, or we don't do the things that we need to do for our voice. But now we got courses that like the idea of if I change the pitch and I raise it, I get some hype from the congregation. So my dad used to say, we deal on emotion. He said, what happens when the emotion is gone? We still should be at that same level. But because we know that if I raise the pitch, it's going to bring hype in the congregation. Just listen when we directing, right? And you start raising the pitch and people get into it. You should be able to take a song, pitch it in a comfortable place. And when the singers are locked in, see, that's the other part. We ain't locked in when we sing, right?
That's
Our minds are all over the place, and we really not thinking about what we singing about. So then what happens is we lose what we're doing. We're not thinking like musicians, because as a musician, we should be thinking about how do I need to support these notes? Or I'm hearing a bad note. If you ever watch me on the Sabbath, if somebody hits a bad note, you'll know that I know. Okay, it's just a habit. It hurts. I'm not just tearing my face up. It hurts. It literally hurts my ear, and I can't. It makes me cringe. You know. So we don't realize. Some of us, as choristers, don't realize that the pitches are dropping, and we wait until it drops too far
too far.
to try to repitch or modulate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And sometimes you don't know how to modulate. You can't
That's
do it
right.
from here and jump a fifth. That's bad. Most people can't hear that.
So Rich,
Right.
when you say that,
Right.
what does
Right.
that mean? What does that mean? Raising or modulating a fifth?
There are musical steps from one note to the note next to it can be a half step or a whole step, right? If you go two notes up, now you've gotten a third, right? Because there are three notes in there, right? That's a third. So two more notes up, that's a fifth.
So
That's a
that's a fifth.
you done went
Mm-hmm.
halfway through the scale and jump, right? So we should be modulating in half steps, whole steps at the most, but half steps, because it's easier to move from here to here, right? Because we slide that way. We go down, we drop a pitch, we drop in half steps very quickly, you know? So we have to learn, first of all, we need to learn musical terminology on a basic scale, right? We don't need to
That
Learn
learn
as
sounds
much
yeah,
as we can.
that
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like a good topic for later on. Musical
yeah.
terminology.
We don't
I
need to
think
learn
we
we
gotta.
don't need to learn necessarily theory, because theory is not comprehensible to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
if we learn music terminology and get a basic understanding when we say certain things, then it makes us start to think, right? And if we start to so now I'm going back up and I'm gonna say this, right? Me and my dad used to have
Say
this
on,
conversation.
brother. Say on. Say on, brother. Say on.
Me and my dad had this conversation a million times. There are a lot of choristers who are great directors in our church, right? There are
Mm-hmm.
very few teachers.
Mm-hmm.
How many of our courses know how to train a choir? Teaching a song is one thing. Training a
Mm-hmm.
choir how to sing is totally different.
Absolutely.
Now, I can take a choir that can sing a million songs, and that's nice. You got a nice repertoire.
Mm-hmm.
But how effective are they with singing those songs? Now, I could take a choir that doesn't have a vast repertoire, but train them how to sing. So when they sing what they know, they got it on point.
Yes,
You ever
sir.
Mm-hmm.
notice when we sing songs sometimes, and when we slow it down, or if the pitch is at a less than moderate placing, right? People don't sing with the same oomph. My dad used to say, volume and pitches work like a stereo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to your stereo, play something, turn the volume all the way up. The sound is distorted. Pitch too high, the sound is distorted, right? Modulate
Absolutely. Too
too
much.
high, the pitch is distorted. We don't even hear it's going
Too much
high.
of anything.
Yeah,
Too
Too
much of
much of
anything.
anything.
yeah,
Balance.
Yeah.
right.
Come
Yes,
on
sir.
now.
When
Come
you
on
don't
now.
when you don't hear that your bass is singing tenor, but you need your tenor to sing the bass part, that's a problem.
There's
Because
an
now
issue.
you're out of practical range and you're tearing up the voices of the bass because they can't reach that high. And the tenor's already singing high. Now you want them to drop down here and sing bass. The voice ain't built to do that. Not unless you are a brother Carey, okay? Brother Solomon Carey Sr., okay?
Senior. Yes,
Who was
sir. Yes,
exceptional.
sir.
He could sing the
Mm-hmm.
lowest of the bass and sing tenor, right? Everybody not built
Absolutely.
like that. Just like every trumpet
Absolutely.
player can't play in the stratosphere and then play down in the mud, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Most trumpet players only have a range that they stick to, and they can't go past it either way.
Do it
Singers are the same
effectively,
way.
though. Effectively.
Effectively, right. Singers are
Yeah.
the same way. So with the stereo, it's the same way. When you take the stereo and it's at a nice volume and it's grooving and it's popping, and you turn it down, if you could still hear all the parts and it's playing, nothing changes in the record, right? We
No,
have a habit when we start bringing the volume down, we get
it
lazy
gets
with our
weak.
singing.
Get
It's weak.
weak. Yeah.
I should have the
Mm.
same enthusiasm when I bring the pitch down as I do when we at full blast, right?
Right. Right.
Because now as
Right.
singers we're thinking and we're into what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there's
Mm-hmm.
no need to modulate the song to a higher
Let it
pitch
flow.
to get something more out of it, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
when the spirit is moving, that electricity, that current still it's the same current.
Yeah.
It's the same current.
They
So
call
that's
it a
how
groove too.
Listen,
Yes,
listen, I know
sir.
you might hear me say that in the middle while I'm directing. If I say get in the groove, get in the groove.
Get in the
It's like
groove.
riding.
Yes, sir.
You watch a horse and a jockey. Watch the
Mm-hmm.
one that
Mm-hmm.
wins. Watch the one that wins. Because
Right.
that
Mm.
jockey or
Right.
that horse got a groove, right?
Yeah.
That
Mm-hmm.
stride.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's how the choir. When that choir gets in the groove, and you can see him
Yes,
going,
sir.
right? Everything
Yes,
is
sir.
moving. You ain't got to change the pitch. You ain't
Yes.
got to do nothing.
You ain't gotta do nothing.
I'm
My
So
lord.
cutting up now.
no,
Go
you
go
ain't gotta
right go
shut up.
right
Just
on.
hold up. Just hold on. Just hold on. No, no, no. You ain't gotta shut up. No, bro. So you made me think of it's quite a few songs. So that's one way and a great example of what we're talking about modulation and I like the fact that you showed the difference between transposition
Transposition.
and modulation. Now, there's another example of modulation in a particular song, one of my all-time favorites from one of my all-time favorite composers in the church. And you already know where I'm going with it.
I know.
Elder John Prince Walker.
I
Come
know.
on now.
Elder John Prince Walker and his classic arrangement to Battle Hymn of Republic.
Yes, sir.
Do you know how many times he modulated and it didn't go half step, but it could have went from C or F to well, let's just go to the last verse.
Mm-hmm.
Dum
Mm-hmm.
dum 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 dum. Key change.
Mm.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory. But that was down.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
could
yeah.
as far as hearing it,
Right, right.
but there's a term for that. It's a musical term for that. Am I right? Am I right, Rich?
It is.
See, see,
It is.
these are the things that I think the more you teach, the more that is taught, learned in our craft, the better we would become. The more knowledge and then the more wisdom we learn how to apply. But you can't do that on the Sabbath day. Or right on like certain things. I mean, I'm guilty of doing modulations.
We
Right
all
on the
are.
spot.
We all are.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's effective, but it's like you're gambling. You
Mm.
gamble, and then you have some that start the song out high, and want to continue to modulate and go higher. It's like, but they don't know how to
Mm,
bring it down either.
mm,
See, you
mm.
see, you know, modulation is a tool. Is a tool to enhance the listening experience. But
What you got, Rich? You got anything else, Rich?
So we
And
we
we gonna
talked
wrap up
about,
here soon too, fellas.
all
We
right.
we rolling. We
We
rolling.
rolling today, baby. So
yeah,
you said something about the what Elder Walker did with
mm-hmm.
his arrangement of Battle Hymn of the Republic. Now there are some compositions that are composed that way with key
Right,
changes. You know,
right, right,
that
right,
happens. Uh,
right.
Even in movements in pieces, there are different keys, right? But
Mm-hmm.
what we do is something completely different. We take a song that's
Yeah,
meant to be in one key
one key.
and we mess around and raise the pitch and play with it, and we lose something when we do that. And if you ever hear the
And
choir sing, when we get too high, the sopranos might be up there ring. We like to know that a soprano can sing in the stratosphere. That's all nice, well and good. But
mm-hmm.
listen to the sopranos when they sing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hear them drop. You can
Mm-hmm.
hear them miss notes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You can hear miss
Absolutely.
notes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to learn as choristers. We have to be more cognizant of the pitches so that we don't have
Mm-hmm.
to modulate. My dad taught me, he says, this is the way that you find out or figure out where you should pitch a song. In your
Absolutely.
mind, go to the highest point of the song,
Mm-hmm.
to the highest point, and listen
Absolutely.
to
I was
that
taught
in
the
your
same.
head. And that way
Mm-hmm.
you'll know from there where to pitch it. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
pitch it, and a great song to figure that out from is There Appeared a Great Wonder in Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect song,
Mm-hmm.
right? The
Mm-hmm.
voice of God is calling. That's your high point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you gonna pitch that song so that you don't exceed that top?
Hmm.
That yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like we have to think, and we have to always be thinking. Just like as singers, we should always be thinking. Don't sing note for note. You don't read word for word. You read in passages. We should
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
sing in passages. Don't
Mm.
sing note for note. If you know a high note is coming, brace yourself because you got to ascend to that point. But if you just singing
Mm-hmm.
right here and think, yeah, that note's coming, oh, I got to hit this note, you're going to miss it every time.
And but you brought up a point, and I just want to say real quick.
Yes, sir.
Um, the way that we use modulation now, I learned it from my dad when he used to hear the pitch dropping. He would continue to change. Now, like you said, is people are not thinking that way. Is like you said, and I understand what you meant by it is a toy. Because not because it's like not necessarily a toy, but it's being really used even in our way of using it incorrectly. You know, if you're gonna modulate you and you want to keep it as a tool to keep you in pitch, that's one thing. But
Hmm.
like you said, you going into the stratosphere, and then you may have one person that can hit that note up in the stratosphere, and that's gonna be the only person that hit it. Everybody else is gonna get try to get at it, but they're gonna miss it every time. They're
Right?
gonna fly under the radar every time. So then since we're not most of us are not tuned into an instrument or to a piano per se, we're gonna be tuned into one another. So one goes flat, literally
We all
everyone
go flat.
else
Mm-hmm.
go flat. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? But if all of us learn what it meant to sing in the start in the starting key, and if the song doesn't change keys, then neither should we.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that is not well, the chorister is responsible in teaching how to make that possible, because it is possible.
Sure. Sure.
It is possible.
My
I
dad
Sure.
mean,
did
little
it.
old me, huh?
My
Both our dads did it.
my dad did it in that court recording we did, the Wilmington, Washington.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you how hard he rehearsed us, not
Mm-hmm.
to drop the pitch. And we were so
Mm-hmm.
in tune and so intense that if it dropped, it was only just a hair. But if
Mm-hmm.
you listen to a
Mm-hmm.
song from beginning to the end, you won't hear much of a difference because we were so in tune, always thinking he pushed that with us. When you have lazy singers, you're going to get a lazy sound.
Man.
Mm,
And
mm,
and what you just saying that, I
mm.
thought of another song, another song that we sing weekly, or worship the Lord.
Mm,
Mhm.
mm.
Bro. Now Matt, you knew you knew the composer.
Yes, I did.
Was was that song composed in was it supposed to modulate into different keys, or was it supposed to be one key?
it was never written or not written. It was to be in one key.
Yes, sir.
Only eight
Now
One
minutes
that's
key.
the
long.
challenge. Huh?
Only eight
What
minutes
you said?
long.
Only eight
Only
minutes long.
only
Only eight
only
minutes
8 minutes.
long.
But how much do you need to train for an 8 minute song?
Mm.
A song of that nature too, because it
Mm-hmm.
has different high points, not just for the sopranos.
That's true.
Praise be to him for everybody can't hear that
That
second to
movement.
the last note. So they might either stay on the note preceding that, thinking that they're hitting that note, and by the time you get to forever, they're in a different key. With it's different keys. I know you hear it because
Listen,
I hear it. So
listen.
so it is so.
It's so much. It's so
It's
much.
so
It's
much,
so
man.
much. It's so much. It's so much. So we're actually at the end of this this week's episode, and I think
Mm,
I think that with those three
Wow.
topics, and again, viewing audience, again, thank you again. What
Hmm.
you just got, what you were able to pull out of Brother Rich, Brother
Hmm.
J, that's from
And
your
brother
from your
Matt.
topics. Listen, I'm part of the conversation. It's glad to be part of the conversation, part of this journey, but. Audience,
Yes, sir.
thank you. So when the
Thank
time
you.
comes that you see, hey, we want to hear from you. We want to know some of the topics that you all have. Let us know, because these kind of this energy that we felt today, it's a
Hmm.
direct result of what you all gave to us, and hopefully what you
That's
all
right.
heard today has been beneficial to you. None of us know everything, right? None of
That's
us
right.
know everything. So when you look back on the responsibility of balancing your life, it is just that, right? It's about
Hmm.
finding a way to make this a part of your daily routine, your daily ritual, so that when the time comes for us to perform and to actually go forward and do what we need to be doing, we're not
Hmm.
coming in there cold, right? We're coming in there actually as a well-prepared vessel, and a well-prepared instrument. The one thing that you do not want to fall into is this idea of atrophy. And I think we've talked about this before, right? If the
Hmm.
voice is a muscle, which it is, misuse or disuse or no use at all will
That's
weaken
right.
that muscle, and that muscle
Yes,
becomes
sir.
weaker, and that's what atrophy is. Let's try
Hmm.
not to find ourselves as an atrophied choir because we're not doing what we need to do during the
Mm.
week. We try to put everything, like Jay said, try to do everything and force everything on the Sabbath, force everything on the beginning of the Sabbath. Prepare
can't
your
do
body, prepare your
it.
body during the week. The importance of building relationships, that's self-explanatory, right? But I like what Rich and Jay said. Like, we're all on the same level. Some of us have different responsibilities, right? And it's about building that trust one with each other, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes we'll have to kind of push a little bit harder because I know that we're able to do a little bit more, all right? And
Hmm.
sometimes the singers may, like, you know what, we're not rehearsing maybe like we could do. Maybe, my brother and sister chorister, hey, the singers are ready to rehearse. Just need that little push
Hmm.
from you for us to kind of get together so that we can do that. But that's all stuff that's developed by way of relationship building, and something we hopefully
Hmm.
see. And then modulation, I think that's something that this idea, like Rich said, about having a session on musical terminology. We can
Yes,
kind of
sir.
kick around these ideas. You kind of saw these two musicians, something kicked in something kicked in them. We start talking about this modulation, things like that. But again, viewing audience, thank you so much for everything that you gave to us today, and hopefully, like I said, this was beneficial to you. Again, like, subscribe, share, and when the time comes for us to get more topics from you, we're looking forward to getting that from you. So again, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time here in the Choristers Lounge. God bless you. Look forward to welcome you again when that Choristers Lounge door is open one more time. So God bless you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
If I can help somebody as I travel alone, then my living, you don't need the other verse. Be vain.
YouTube audience, we have just heard from musical royalty in Church of God and Saints of Christ in the person of Saint Rhoda Wilson Jackson.
There's plenty of things to talk about, so sit down, so sit down and